How to learn English fast. To learn English quickly, you need to set specific and achievable goals. Think about what you want to accomplish, whether it's improving your speaking, writing, listening, or reading skills. For example, you can aim to learn 10 new words daily or practice speaking for 30 minutes every day. When your goals are clear, you will have a direction to follow, which keeps you motivated. Write your goals down to remind yourself of your progress. Remember, consistency is key when working toward your language learning objectives. Breaking your goals into smaller steps makes the process less overwhelming. For instance, start by learning common phrases used in everyday conversations. Once you feel confident, move to more complex vocabulary and grammar structures. Celebrate small achievements, like mastering a set of words or phrases. This will keep you encouraged to continue. Success in learning English happens one step at a time, so be patient and persistent. Another helpful strategy is to track your progress. Use a notebook or an app to record what you've learned daily. By reviewing this record, you can identify your strengths and areas that need more attention. Seeing your improvements over time will motivate you to keep pushing forward. Learning a language is a journey, not a race, so enjoy the process. Every small step matters when achieving fluency in English. Having clear goals also helps you stay organized. When you know what to focus on, you avoid wasting time on irrelevant topics. Prioritize the skills that are most important to you. For example, if you need English for work, focus on professional vocabulary and business communication skills. Tailoring your goals to your needs will make your learning experience more efficient and rewarding. Stay focused and dedicated. Lastly, don't be afraid to adjust your goals as you progress. You might realize that some goals are too easy or too difficult. That's perfectly normal. Adapting your goals keeps your learning journey dynamic and exciting. Always challenge yourself to improve without becoming discouraged. Remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Your hard work will pay off in the end. Part 2. Immerse yourself in English. Immersion is one of the fastest ways to learn a language. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to English music, watch movies, and read books or articles written in English. This exposure helps you absorb the language naturally. Even if you don't understand every word, you'll start to recognize patterns and improve your listening skills. Consistent exposure makes English feel familiar and easier to use in real life. Talking to native speakers is another effective way to immerse yourself. Look for language exchange partners or join online communities where people practice English. These conversations allow you to use the language in real-life situations, helping you become more confident. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, they are a natural part of learning. The more you speak, the faster you will improve. If you can, travel to an English-speaking country or join a language program abroad. Immersing yourself in an environment where English is spoken forces you to practice and learn quickly. If traveling isn't an option, try creating an English-only zone at home. Commit to speaking and thinking in English during specific times of the day. This habit will help you build fluency over time. Technology is another tool for immersion. Use language learning apps, join English-speaking forums, or follow English-speaking influencers on social media. These resources are accessible and can fit into your daily routine. Try to interact with content that interests you, such as cooking videos, travel blogs, or motivational speeches. When learning feels fun, you'll stay engaged and improve faster. Finally, surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your learning journey. Share your goals with friends or family who can help you practice or motivate you. Joining a study group or language club is also beneficial. Learning with others creates accountability and makes the process more enjoyable. Remember, the more you immerse yourself in English, the quicker you will achieve fluency. Part 3. Practice regularly. One of the most important aspects of learning English quickly is practicing regularly. Set aside time every day to practice speaking, reading, writing, and listening. Even if it's just 15 to 30 minutes, consistency is more effective than long, occasional sessions. Try to integrate English into your daily life by practicing during routine activities like cooking, commuting, or exercising. The more you use the language, the faster you will improve. Speaking is often the hardest skill to develop, but it's essential for fluency. Practice speaking with native speakers or fellow learners. If that's not possible, speak to yourself in English. Describe your surroundings, your plans for the day, or your feelings. This helps you think in English and build your speaking confidence. Don't worry about making mistakes, just keep talking. Writing is another great way to improve your English. Start by writing short diary entries or notes about your day. Gradually move on to more complex sentences and paragraphs. Writing helps reinforce vocabulary and grammar, and it allows you to spot areas where you need improvement. It's also a great way to track your progress over time. Listening to English regularly is equally important. Listen to podcasts, watch TV shows, or listen to audiobooks in English. Try to understand the main ideas first, and then focus on the details. Listening trains your ear to recognize different accents and pronunciations. It also helps improve your comprehension skills, which is crucial for conversations. Lastly, make learning fun by incorporating activities that you enjoy. Play language games, solve puzzles, or even watch your favorite shows with English subtitles. The more enjoyable the practice, the more likely you are to stick with it. Keep experimenting with different forms of practice to find what works best for you. Part 4. Build vocabulary and grammar. Building a strong vocabulary is essential for learning English quickly. Start by learning common words and phrases used in everyday conversation. Focus on topics that interest you, such as food, travel, or hobbies. This will keep you motivated to learn new words. Flashcards, apps, and word lists can be helpful tools for reviewing vocabulary regularly. The more words you know, the easier it will be to express yourself. Try to learn words in context, not just as isolated terms. For example, instead of just memorizing the word book, learn sentences like I'm reading a book or I bought a new book. This helps you understand how words are used in real conversations. It also makes it easier to remember words because you associate them with real-life situations. Grammar is another crucial element for improving your English quickly. While vocabulary helps you express ideas, grammar ensures your sentences are clear and understandable. Focus on learning basic grammar rules, such as sentence structure, verb tenses, and prepositions. Don't try to memorize every rule at once. Instead, learn as you go and practice with real examples. Over time, you'll internalize the rules naturally. Reading in English can also help you improve both vocabulary and grammar. Read books, articles, or news stories to see how words and grammar are used in context. Start with simpler materials and gradually increase the difficulty as you improve. Pay attention to sentence structure, word order, and how different grammatical concepts are applied. Reading not only expands your vocabulary but also reinforces grammar concepts. Finally, keep a notebook to write down new vocabulary and grammar rules you learn. Review it regularly to reinforce your knowledge. This helps you retain the information and stay on track with your learning goals. By building your vocabulary and grammar step by step, you'll become more confident in your English abilities. Part 5. Stay motivated and keep learning. Staying motivated is key to learning English quickly. It can be challenging at times, but if you focus on your progress and keep a positive attitude, you will continue to improve. Set milestones for yourself, such as finishing a book in English or holding a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker. When you reach these milestones, celebrate your achievement. This will remind you that your hard work is paying off. Sometimes, it's easy to get discouraged when you feel like you're not progressing as fast as you'd like. Remember that language learning is a long-term process. Everyone learns at their own pace, so don't compare yourself to others. Instead, focus on your personal growth. Keep track of your improvement by looking back at where you started. You'll be surprised at how far you've come. Another way to stay motivated is by joining a community of English learners. Online forums, study groups, and social media groups can provide support and encouragement. These communities offer opportunities to practice with others, share tips, and celebrate successes together. Learning English becomes more enjoyable when you're part of a supportive network. It's also important to take breaks and avoid burnout. Learning a new language can be intense, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Take some time off when needed, but always return to your studies with fresh energy. Balance is essential in maintaining long-term motivation and avoiding frustration. Keep your learning fun and varied to prevent it from feeling like a chore. Finally, always remind yourself why you want to learn English. Whether it's for travel, career opportunities, or personal growth, having a clear reason will keep you motivated. The more connected you feel to your goal, the more determined you will be to reach it. Keep pushing forward, and enjoy the process of becoming fluent in English. Part 6. Use technology to your advantage. Technology offers a wide range of tools to help you learn English quickly. From mobile apps to language exchange websites, the options are endless. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise allow you to practice vocabulary, grammar, and listening skills in a fun and interactive way. These platforms are convenient because you can practice anytime, anywhere, making it easy to fit English into your daily routine. Online language exchange websites are another great resource. Websites like italki or Tandem allow you to connect with native speakers for conversations. This gives you the chance to practice speaking, learn new expressions, and get feedback. Having a real conversation with someone can accelerate your learning and boost your confidence. Watching YouTube videos in English is also a fantastic way to learn. There are channels dedicated to English learners that provide lessons on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and more. Watching videos on subjects that interest you will help you stay engaged and make learning feel less like a task. You can even pause and rewind videos to focus on areas you need help with. Another helpful tool is speech recognition software. Tools like Google Translate or speech-to-text apps allow you to practice pronunciation and check if your accent is clear. These technologies can be used to fine-tune your spoken English and ensure that you're pronouncing words correctly. This real-time feedback will help you improve faster. Finally, using English in your daily life through technology can help reinforce what you've learned. Change the language settings on your phone, use social media in English, or follow English-speaking content creators. The more you interact with English online, the more comfortable and fluent you will become. Part 7. Learn phrasal verbs and idioms. Phrasal verbs and idioms are common in everyday English and can be tricky for learners. However, mastering them will help you sound more natural and fluent. Start by learning the most common phrasal verbs, such as turn on, get up, or put off. These verbs often have meanings that are different from their individual words, so understanding them in context is key. Similarly, idiomatic expressions are frequently used in casual conversations. Phrases like break the ice or hit the nail on the head might not make sense if translated literally, but they are essential for sounding like a native speaker. Try to memorize a few idioms each week and use them in sentences. This will help you feel more comfortable with conversational English. One way to practice phrasal verbs and idioms is by watching movies or TV shows. Pay attention to how characters use these phrases in conversations. Repeat them aloud to practice your pronunciation and learn how they are used naturally. Writing them down in a notebook and using them in your own conversations is another great way to reinforce your learning. Another helpful approach is to use flashcards for memorization. Write the phrasal verb or idiom on one side and the meaning or an example sentence on the other. Review these cards daily to ensure you remember them. Over time, using these expressions will become second nature, and your English will sound much more fluent. In addition to phrasal verbs and idioms, focus on learning the appropriate context for each one. Some phrases are used in informal settings, while others are more suitable for formal situations. Knowing when to use the right expression is just as important as knowing the meaning. With practice, you'll master these phrases and improve your spoken English. Part 8. Learn from mistakes. Mistakes are an inevitable part of learning any language, but they shouldn't hold you back. In fact, making mistakes is one of the fastest ways to learn. Every time you make an error, it's an opportunity to understand a concept better. Instead of feeling discouraged, treat mistakes as valuable learning experiences that will help you grow. When you make a mistake, try to understand why it happened. Was it a vocabulary mistake, a grammar error, or a pronunciation issue? Identifying the cause of the mistake will allow you to focus on the area that needs improvement. For example, if you often make mistakes with verb tenses, spend extra time practicing them until you get them right. Ask for feedback from native speakers or teachers. They can point out errors that you might not have noticed and provide guidance on how to correct them. Don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand something. Language learning is a process, and the more you ask, the more you will learn. Remember, the fear of making mistakes can hold you back from speaking or practicing. Try to let go of the fear and embrace the process of learning. No one expects you to be perfect, and everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. The important thing is to keep practicing and improving. Lastly, celebrate your progress, even if it's small. Every mistake you correct means you're getting closer to fluency. Keep a positive mindset, and continue learning from your errors. The more mistakes you make, the faster you will improve, so don't let them discourage you. Part 9. Stay consistent and be patient. Consistency is one of the most important factors in learning English quickly. Even when you feel like you're not making progress, don't give up. Consistent practice, even if it's just a small amount each day, will eventually lead to improvement. Set aside time every day to study and practice, even if it's only for 15 minutes. One way to stay consistent is by creating a study schedule. Dedicate specific times each day to practice speaking, reading, writing, and listening. Make it a habit, so it becomes part of your daily routine. This structure will help you stay organized and ensure that you're continually progressing. Another helpful tip is to break your study time into smaller sessions. For example, instead of studying for an hour straight, try 15-minute sessions throughout the day. This keeps you from feeling overwhelmed and helps you stay focused. Repeating short practice sessions is often more effective than long, tiring study blocks. Be patient with yourself. Language learning is not an overnight process, and you won't see instant results. It takes time for your brain to absorb new words, grammar, and pronunciation. The key is to keep going and trust that your efforts will pay off in the long run. Celebrate the small wins along the way to keep your motivation high. Remember that the road to fluency is a marathon, not a sprint. Stay patient and consistent, and you'll see improvement over time. The more you practice and the more time you put into learning English, the faster you will become fluent. Part 10. Practice with real-life situations. The best way to learn English quickly is to use it in real-life situations. Try to incorporate English into your daily activities as much as possible. For example, you can try ordering food in English at a restaurant or chatting with a friend in English. By using the language in real contexts, you will become more comfortable and confident in your abilities. When you're traveling or meeting new people, make it a point to speak English. Whether it's asking for directions or having a simple conversation, these real-life interactions will help you practice and improve your skills. The more you use English in everyday situations, the more fluent you will become. Another way to practice is by participating in activities that interest you, such as sports, cooking, or art, but in English. This will expose you to new vocabulary and phrases related to your hobbies. You'll also feel more engaged and motivated to learn because you're using the language in a context that excites you. If you're unable to find opportunities to speak English in person, try online platforms where you can talk with people from all over the world. Platforms like Zoom, Skype, or even social media allow you to engage with English speakers. These conversations will help you learn how English is used in casual, everyday settings. Finally, practice problem solving in English. Whether you're figuring out how to assemble furniture or solving a puzzle, try to use English instructions or think in English. This active application of language helps reinforce your learning and prepares you to use English in real-life situations more effectively. Part 11. Immersion in English. Immersion is one of the most effective techniques for learning any language quickly. The concept is simple: surround yourself with the language as much as possible. When you immerse yourself in English, you create an environment where you're constantly exposed to the language, which helps you absorb it more naturally. This is how children learn their first language, by hearing it all around them and using it in real situations. To replicate this experience in your own life, you need to find ways to integrate English into your everyday routine. Start by changing the settings on your phone, computer, and social media accounts to English. This small change forces you to interact with the language more frequently. Every time you check your messages, emails, or social media, you'll be exposed to new vocabulary and phrases. You can also switch your favorite apps or websites to English, allowing you to read and understand content in the language you're learning. Another way to immerse yourself is by listening to English language music, podcasts, or audiobooks. Choose genres or topics that interest you to keep the experience enjoyable. When you listen to these materials, try to focus on understanding the main ideas, even if you don't catch every word. Over time, your ability to understand different accents, pronunciations, and speech patterns will improve. Listening regularly also helps improve your pronunciation, as you get used to how native speakers use intonation, stress, and rhythm in everyday speech. Watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English is another great way to immerse yourself in the language. Turn on subtitles in English to help you connect the spoken words with the written ones. This practice will also expand your vocabulary by exposing you to colloquial phrases, slang, and expressions that are commonly used in conversations. Try to watch content in different accents, as this will help you understand the global diversity of the English language. You can start with simple shows or movies and gradually move on to more complex ones as your skills improve. Speaking with native English speakers or other learners is an essential part of immersion. Language exchanges are an excellent way to practice speaking. Platforms like italki or Tandem connect learners with native speakers for conversations, allowing you to practice speaking in real-world scenarios. If native speakers aren't available, try finding a conversation partner from your community or a fellow learner who is also dedicated to improving their English. Regular practice will not only help you use the vocabulary and grammar you've learned, but it will also improve your confidence in speaking the language. Don't be afraid of making mistakes during your immersion process. Mistakes are a natural part of language learning, and they offer valuable opportunities for growth. Each time you make a mistake and learn from it, you're moving closer to fluency. Immersion isn't just about learning vocabulary and grammar, it's about developing a feeling for how the language works in real contexts. By continually practicing and exposing yourself to English, you'll find yourself thinking and even dreaming in English, which is a sure sign of language fluency. To further immerse yourself, you can consider traveling to an English-speaking country. Being in an environment where English is the primary language forces you to use it constantly in every aspect of your day-to-day life. From ordering food at a restaurant to asking for directions, everything becomes an opportunity to practice. Traveling or living in an English-speaking country allows you to be fully immersed in the language, giving you the chance to apply your learning in real-life situations and accelerate your fluency. In addition to speaking and listening, reading in English is an essential part of immersion. The more you read, the more vocabulary and grammar patterns you'll encounter, reinforcing what you've learned. Start with simple materials like children's books or online articles, and gradually move on to more challenging content, such as novels or academic papers. Reading in English not only improves your vocabulary but also helps you understand sentence structure and the nuances of the language. Try to read a variety of genres, including fiction, nonfiction, news articles, and even blogs, to expose yourself to different types of writing and vocabulary. Lastly, make English a part of your daily thoughts and reflections. Try thinking in English, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. When you walk down the street or sit in a cafe, describe your surroundings or think about what you're doing in English. This habit helps strengthen your mental connection to the language, making it easier to recall words and phrases when you need them. The more you engage with English mentally, the faster you will internalize it, and it will become second nature to you. Immersion is all about surrounding yourself with the language and using it as much as possible in real-world contexts. The more you immerse yourself in English, the faster you will learn. This process might take time, but by consistently applying immersion techniques, you will soon see significant improvements in your language skills. Keep at it, and don't be afraid to dive into English head first. It's one of the best ways to become fluent quickly, and the rewards will be well worth the effort.